All right, Unit 1, Lesson 3, practice. Do not turn any of your answers into decimals. Leave them in fractional form or as an integer. All right, step number 1, let's see. Number 1 has all the same denominator, so I definitely want to clear my fraction. That's what I'm going to be doing for most of these. If there are any terms that are not fraction, I might move them by themselves first, but we'll see. So this one has a 2, so I want to multiply every term by a 2. So 2 times 1 is 2, divided by 2 is a negative 1. 2 times 3 is 6, divided by 2 is 3, and that is also a 3. Then we want to move the 3 to the other side, start to isolate our variable term that happens to be on that side, so we're moving everything to the left, and then we isolate our variable. K equals a negative 4 over 3. Okay. The next, number 2 has a 4 as a denominator and a 24. 4s are factors of a 24, so you can use your LCD is your 24. So this gets multiplied by 24, this gets multiplied by 24, and this one. Remember, every term that isn't a distribution gets multiplied by the LCD. So this is 24 times 3 divided by 4. So what I do is I take the 4 out of the 24, which is 6, right? And then 6 times 3 is 18. 4 into 24 is 6. 6 times 5 is 30. 24 into 24 makes that just 113. Okay? And let's see, there's my variable term, so I want to move the 18 to the other side. Do you get the difference on this? Make sure you're eyeballing where your variable is and moving other terms away from it to start to get it alone on one side. So right here is my variable term, so that means I'm moving the 18 over. We don't move the 113 to back because we don't want there to be a side with nothing. Remember, we're trying to aim, our final answer is going to be m equals a number. So make sure you're moving things the right way. It does matter, okay? Negative 30m equals 95. That's positive minus that. And then divide by the negative 30 to make that go away. And I have a 95 over 30. So I know that it's divisible by 5 because they end in a 5 or a 0. So it doesn't matter if I put the negative at the bottom or at the top or to the side, right? One negative, this is a negative fraction, over a 6 should be my final answer. Okay. This next one, we have an LCD of 8, right? 8's the largest denominator, 4 is a factor, 2 is a factor, so I can use the 8 to clear my fractions. So this is 2 goes into the 8 4 times. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 into the 8 goes 2 times. 2 times 7 is 14x. And then 8 into 8 leaves the 9. Okay. This is my variable term here, so we want to go ahead and move the 12 away from my variable term to get it away. And negative and a negative makes a bigger negative. And then isolate my variable by dividing by same. X equals, double negative is a positive, and both can be divided by 7. Okay. Number 4. 5 is the only denominator, so we multiply everything by 5 to clear all the fractions. And I still have to multiply. I think one of the biggest mistakes people make is they don't multiply the one term that doesn't have a denominator, that's not a fraction. You still have to do that. You can run the rule is you can run the same number through the entire problem if it's an equation. You can't just touch one thing. So do the same thing to everything, and that'll keep it equivalent. All right, so this, remember, there's nothing to reduce this by. There's a 1 there, so that doesn't get reduced. But everything that has a 5 can be reduced. Okay. Then the variable terms on this side, so we want to move the 9 away from it by adding its opposite. 10b equals a negative 11 plus another negative is a negative 20. Isolate the b. B equals a negative 2. This reduces, right? All right, this one here is a distribution. Please notice that this one's a distribution. So the first thing I do is I got a denominator of 2 and a denominator of 2. There are many ways to do this problem. I wrote down at least 3 on the key, but I don't think too hard about it. It has fractions on the outside of a distribution. So we'll get rid of the 2's. That leaves 3, 7m plus 1. Get rid of the 2's, leaves a 3. Distribute the 3 to both terms. Here's my variable term, so move this one over here. 21n equals 0, which is kind of strange, but just follow the rules. Keep going. N equals 0. Okay. So this is the one you can put back in just to check. I'm saying that if I did this right, that this times 0 plus 1 equals the same thing. Oops. So this is going to be 7 times 0 is 0 plus 1 is 1. So 3 over 2 times 1 equals 3 over 2, and that's correct. Okay? So you can feel free to check anytime. It's a little harder when your answer is like some fraction, but it's still checkable. All right, the next one has a bunch of fractions. Let's see. We've got a 9 is the largest one. 2 doesn't go into 9, but 3 goes into a 9. So the smallest LCD we can have is 2 times 9, which would be 18 for my LCD. And because this is a distribution, you don't want to touch these guys inside the parentheses, just outside the parentheses with your LCD. So 9 into 18 goes twice. 2 times 41 is 82. 2 into 18 is 9. 9 times 5 is 45. Put this back. Did not touch the distribution. 3 into 18 is 6. 6 times 1 is 6. Bring the x along. Don't lose the signs or the variables, okay? Now we are ready to distribute. 82 equals 45x and plus a 90 minus 6x. Let's see, we want to combine like terms. 82 equals 45 minus 6 is 39x plus 90. We want to go ahead and, this is my variable term, so I'm going to move the 90 back over here to get it over there to start isolating my variable term. Let's see, 82, that's going to be a negative 8. And then we isolate our variable. X equals negative 8 over 39. 39 only has 3's in it, and 8 has no 3, so I think we're good. It does not reduce. All right, here's another one that's got a distribution in it. So we're looking at 2, 2, and 24. So again, 24 is our LCD. And we only multiply the things outside the distributions with that. So let's see. 2 goes into 24 12 times, so negative 12. Don't touch the distribution. 2 into 24 goes 12. 7 times 12 is what? 84. So negative 84x. Reduce away the 24s and you get, you get negative 83. All right. Let's see, I have a distribution here I need to do next. So this times this is negative 24x. Negative times negative is a positive 36. And this 84x is still here. All right, I got lots of terms here. I got a variable term with an x and a variable term with an x. Two negatives make a bigger negative. And I want to go ahead and move this 36 to this side to get it away. Negative and negative would be a negative 119. Divide by same. So x equals a negative over negative is a positive. 119. 19's prime. Those are really big numbers, but I don't think anything goes into them. So not reducible. All right, number 8. All right, number 8 only has one fraction, and it's a 5. So I can multiply everything by 5, or my first step could be just to move this over. And I'm left with something that looks like this, okay? So then I definitely want to multiply by 5 now. If I multiply by 5 first, it's okay if you don't notice, but you'll have to multiply the 8 by the 5 and the 10 by the 5. So I just moved it first so I'm not multiplying so much. Now this one makes this go away. And then 5 times 18 is 90. And then start getting rid of that. So W equals 84. So think about it. 84 plus 6. You can put that back for the W. 84 plus 6 is 90 divided by 5. Minus 8 is 10. Let me check my calculator real quick. Yeah, that's 18 minus 8 is 10. Yep, just checking. All right, number 9. Again, you can just move this over. I think that's the easiest way. If you don't notice it, that you can move it, you can multiply everything by the 3. But you can always do it now. So 8W equals... yeah, on the key I forgot to do that, but 45, 8, 8. Yeah, you can see by the key I end up in the same place. Okay. Let's see. This one has a substitution. This goes in for the G. So if you get a word problem, make sure, notice that there are 2 variables here. You cannot solve a problem for 2 different variables at the same time, not in this chapter, okay? So one of them has to have a substitution either from the wording or just off to the side. So make sure you find it, put it in for the right letter. And then you have this for a problem and you're solving for W. Okay, so if you're solving for W, your first step to getting a loan is moving this term out of the way. Again, I'm doing it a little different than the key, so sorry about that. So if you notice that you can move the constant term, move it. If you don't notice, just multiply it by the denominator like you're going to in just a minute. You can obviously see that it works out. Let's see, 48 times 8, just double checking, 384. Yep. Divided by 3, W equals 128. Okay?